What's going on, everyone? Trust the Buzz here. If you are new to the channel, I make daily Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Charlotte Hornets and what's their problem. And by problem, I'm really referring to how they never have like a plan B or even barely a plan A. So if that interests you, let's go ahead and get into the video. The reason I say the Charlotte Hornets never have a plan is because they just seem to never have an idea or an identity of any kind. And so I'm going to go over a few like past transactions or a few past moves that they've made and kind of explain, all right, this is what they were doing and they didn't have a plan for it if it didn't work, or even if it did work. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing they didn't have a backup plan for was Gordon Hayward's injury, which is insane just because of the fact that we know Gordon Hayward, ever since that one injury, he's had injury problems. So I just don't really understand how I get it. You paid him all that money and you would like to see him be healthy and you're being optimistic. However, you do know the reality of the situation that when Gordon Hayward was an everyday starter for the Boston Celtics, he could not stay healthy. When he was a guy that came off the bench, he was fine. So I feel like as a team, you do that research and you understand, hey, first of all, you should know he's not worth that money anyway, just because he's unreliable and not because of like his own personality traits or anything like that. We can all agree Gordon Hayward's a pretty good human being from everything I've seen, but just on the court, he cannot stay healthy. He cannot stay on the court. So why would you pay him that much money? That's a different story for another day. But he get injured. They had no idea what to do. And so then the next season, this past season, they got Kelly Oubre, who was a good backup for Gordon Hayward. However, Kelly Oubre, his spot was kind of more so a six-man with Gordon Hayward, as opposed to, all right, let's have Kelly Oubre do the same things that Gordon Hayward did, which is impossible, just because of the fact that we know that when Gordon Hayward's on the court, he is a very efficient, very smooth, just a very good basketball player. But Kelly Oubre, who does not play the same way, you try to put him in, it just messes up the lineup, and I feel like they didn't think of that. So now they're in trouble because of the fact that you got this guy you're paying all this money to, can't really trade him, and you don't really even know what to do when he gets injured, just because of the fact that you keep drafting these young players, but nobody to really fill that spot that Gordon Hayward has on this team. You don't have someone that can play just like him. Like sometimes, like in the NFL, for example, a smart thing to do when you get a backup quarterback that plays similar to your starting quarterback, so that hopefully steps aren't missed. Yeah, you're gonna miss the talent, but the play style and things like that is the same. The Charlotte Hornets don't do that with Gordon Hayward, and I feel like that messes them up a lot. You can't just replace him with just anybody, especially with someone who kind of has such a well-rounded game when he is available to play on the court. Next thing I want to talk about is the Miles Bridges situation. So there was rumors that because of how Miles Bridges acted at the end, and then just how much money he was looking for, that the Charlotte Hornets were not going to pay him, even despite his legal problems. They were thinking about maybe not paying him. I don't know if they were not going to trade. I don't know if they were going to trade. I don't know if they were going to trade him. I don't know if they were just going to let him get priced out of Charlotte. I don't know what their deal was. I'm pretty sure they would have traded him like a sign and trade, just because of the fact that Devontae Graham kind of did the same thing. So I feel like they are smart enough to not let him walk for free. But there were rumors that they were really thinking about not bringing him back. Now we see what happened with his legal issue. Granted, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because you did not think that was going to happen. However, you don't have a plan because of the fact, what if you didn't bring him back? You know what I mean? I feel like it would have still been much of the same. They would have just ran this team back and signed some like bottom tier free agent. No disrespect to whoever they may sign, this hypothetical person, but it wouldn't have been someone good enough to replace Miles Bridges, or even to just help fill the gap that Miles Bridges would have left on his team if he just walked out and went to Detroit or something. You know what I mean? So they just never have a backup plan, and that is another example of just, what were you going to do? Now, I guess it's easy to say like, oh, well, they could have did something, because that's not what played out. What played out is that he got into legal trouble. So it is a little different, but I personally believe that I don't think they may have signed like TJ Warren maybe, but that's really about where that would have went. And we all know that would have been a good deal if they had Miles Bridges. But if you're missing Miles Bridges and trying to replace him with TJ Warren, that wasn't going to work. So even in that hypothetical scenario, I still don't think it would have worked out in the Charlotte Hornets' favor. Another thing I want to talk about is the rookies. So you draft all these rookies, and I get it, for sure. Like, you draft what's there, and then boom, we'll figure out the fit later. I'm perfectly fine with that, especially with a team like this where the only for sure thing you have on this team is LaMelo. I'm sorry to say it. And PJ. I think PJ has come a long way, especially defensively. So for sure things, you have LaMelo and PJ. Now, I'm not saying PJ is going to be a superstar. I do think LaMelo is, but PJ is just a guy who any winning team is going to want to have. I guarantee you that, especially he continues to play the way he does. I'm not tripping over that at all. But you draft all these young players, and now you don't know what to do with them because you have Terry Rozier in the way, you have Kelly Oubre in the way, you have Gordon Hayward in the way, Miles Bridges in the way if he was on a team. And now I know we can give them the benefit of that of, oh, if the Miles Bridges situation goes south where they can't even bring him back, they're going to play the young guy. I don't know, but even with Miles Bridges, let's say everything went dandy, Miles Bridges is on the team, we're not even talking about that, and then we go into the next season, you have all these young guys and have no idea what to do with them. You can't really even trade like guys like James Bouknight, Kai Jones, JT Thor, maybe even. You can't trade them because they don't play. So nobody knows what they're getting. So let's say you can trade them, but it's not going to be for a return of a guy that's really going to impact the roster. You know what I mean? So that's something you have to think about. So now we're in a situation where we may not even have Miles Bridges, so therefore we don't have someone to pair with LaMelo because Terry Rozier, he don't fit the timeline. Gordon Hayward definitely don't fit the timeline, and he's not reliable. And PJ's not like a number 2 guy. So now you have all these young guys after that. What are you going to do? Because it seems like we know how the Hornets are. They want everybody to earn minutes. You're not the San Antonio Spurs. Like, that's not how this culture works. You need to define the culture first, and they don't have that right now. I made a video talking about how they need to define the culture. But the Hornets just never have a plan B. They just do things and don't think, one, they don't think a contingency plan of what if something bad happened, or two, they don't even know what to do after they make their original decision. I think Mitch Kupchak is really good at drafting. I really do. I think Bryce McGowan was a steal. I think Kai Jones could be a steal. Same way with James Bouknight. These guys, I think they can be really great. Good NBA player. I'm not going to say great because you get into like semantics and things like that, but these guys can be really good NBA players if they're given the proper, nourishment and things like that a young NBA player needs. But I feel like that's it. They're just like, oh, we're going to get this guy and this is a steal. All right, well, now what? Because same with Vernon Carey Jr. Vernon Carey Jr., everyone thought could have been a first-round pick. He does play a little old school, at the center position, and I thought Vernon Carey was good. They didn't know what to do with him. There was times they would start him for 5 minutes and then bench him for the rest of the game last year or the year before, maybe even last year. But yeah, so they have these ideas and most of the time their ideas up front are usually good. It's just they don't know what to do after that, and that has been just a reoccurring theme over and over and over again with this front office. So the Charlotte Hornets really just need to just get better. They need better minds, NBA minds in fact, these guys don't even have to be NBA minds. They just need better guys who help them plan, because it seems like they got the NBA minds because, like I said, they have a good collection of talent. They just don't know what to do with it afterwards. And I necessarily don't understand what is so difficult about, if you're going to draft all these guys, do you plan on trading them? Well, if so, they need to see the floor. So I don't know. Charlotte Hornets had a lot to work on, and they had plenty of time to think about it because they're just going to be sitting here for the long haul waiting for Miles Bridges. But yeah, that's my gripe with the Charlotte Hornets, and I don't foresee it changing. I really can't tell if it's Michael Jordan, because the team has gotten better since like Rich Cho, but it's still like in that same kind of mold. It's just that Mitch Kupchak picks better players and picks up better talent than Rich Cho was. But I don't know. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section below. I'm back to uploading daily Charlotte Hornets content, so that's why we get videos like this, just to kind of keep the community engaged and just nobody else talk about the Hornets and nobody's really talking about basketball. So that's why I'm trying my best here. But so if you appreciate that and you want to help me out, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, just because that's the best way you can support the channel. Like I said, I'm back to uploading daily, and that does it for this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.